Do you ever catch yourself spiraling into worry about things you can't control? You're not alone. Jesus once threw a curveball at his followers, urging them not to worry about the mundane stuff of life. He even said, "Don't worry about what you'll eat, drink, or wear." Wait, what? Seriously, did he forget how expensive groceries have become? Let's unpack what Jesus meant by this. It's more practical than it sounds. The first challenge: Jesus' unconventional advice. When Jesus walked among us, he often said things that didn't quite make sense at first. One of his most famous pieces of advice is the directive: do not worry about your life, what you will eat, what you will drink, or what you will wear. Now hold on, did he forget how expensive groceries are? Or how stressful it can be to decide on the perfect outfit for a big day? Jesus' words were not meant to ignore the challenges of everyday life, but rather to shift our focus away from the constant worry about the insignificant things. The point is, there is more to life than food, drink, and clothes. It's about understanding that we are more than our physical needs, and Jesus was inviting us to look beyond these distractions. The futility of worry. Jesus goes further in his teachings, asking a provocative question: can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? It's a simple but powerful thought. Worrying about things, whether big or small, does nothing but consume our energy. It doesn't solve problems, it doesn't improve our lives, and it certainly doesn't help us grow. And yet, how often do we find ourselves consumed with anxiety about situations that we have no control over? We stress about our jobs, our finances, our relationships, things that, while important, are often outside of our immediate control. Jesus was inviting his followers to let go of that need for control and trust in something larger than themselves. Looking to nature for wisdom. One of the most famous analogies Jesus used was looking at the birds of the air. He pointed out that they don't plant seeds or harvest crops, and they don't store food in barns. Yet they are fed. Why? Because their Creator provides for them. Jesus asked, "Aren't you more valuable than the birds?" And with that, he was underscoring a fundamental truth. If God provides for the lesser parts of creation, how much more will he provide for us, his most cherished creation? Nature offers profound lessons in trust and provision. The birds live freely, without the burden of worry, and their needs are always met. Why not us? The beauty of simplicity, flowers and kings. Jesus didn't stop there. He moved from birds to flowers, saying that even King Solomon, with all his wealth and grandeur, didn't look as beautiful as the flowers in the field. These wildflowers grow without effort, without planning, and without striving. They simply exist in their natural state, basking in the beauty that God has gifted them. Their vibrant colors, delicate petals, and graceful presence are all part of a divine design. Yet these flowers, which are here today and gone tomorrow, are carefully tended to by God. They do not worry about their fleeting existence because they trust that their beauty is enough, and that's what makes them so captivating. Jesus makes a powerful point here. If God cares for the fleeting grass of the field, surely he cares for us far more than we realize. The flowers of the field symbolize simplicity and beauty that arise effortlessly when we stop trying to control everything and instead trust in the natural order. Our lives, much like the flowers, are fleeting in the grand scope of time, yet God's care and provision for us are constant. The more we focus on letting go of our need to control, the more we can experience the simple beauty and peace that comes from trusting in God's perfect plan for us. Just as the flowers bloom with grace, our lives can flourish when we surrender the unnecessary stress and embrace the trust in God's provision. The perils of excessive worry, a modern dilemma. In the fast-paced world we live in today, the temptation to worry is everywhere. From the constant pressure to perform at work to the expectations of social media perfection, it feels like there is always something to be anxious about. Whether it's a job interview, a looming deadline, or just keeping up with the latest trends, the world encourages us to stay on edge, to always be striving for more. Jesus' teachings on not worrying invite us to pause and reflect. Are we chasing after things that truly matter, or are we caught in an endless cycle of anxiety over trivial things? The modern world might make us feel like we have to chase after everything, but Jesus reminds us that peace comes from letting go. The larger context, Jesus' parable of the king. To further emphasize his point, Jesus told a parable about a king who invited his followers to share in his inheritance. But the king didn't just talk about material wealth or grandeur. He spoke about feeding the hungry, giving water to the thirsty, and clothing the naked. And when his followers asked when they had done these things for him, the king responded, "Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." This is a profound shift from the idea of focusing on personal needs to focusing on the needs of others. Jesus teaches that service to others, no matter how small, is of great value. In doing so, we not only help those around us, but we also serve God. A call to serve others. Jesus' parable calls us to action, not passivity. He isn't advocating for a life of inaction or apathy. Rather, he's pointing to a life of service. The people in the parable didn't realize that by feeding the hungry, giving drink to the thirsty, and offering care to the sick, they were serving God directly. This speaks to the heart of Jesus' teachings. Our actions, no matter how small, matter. It's not about grand gestures or fame, but about responding to the needs of others around us. Whether it's giving a meal to someone in need, offering a listening ear, or lending a hand to those who are struggling, every act of kindness is valuable in the eyes of God. The heart of generosity. Doing more than just meeting our own needs. Jesus' message isn't just about what we receive. It's about what we give. It's not about hoarding wealth or material goods, but about being generous with what we have. The world may tempt us to accumulate as much as we can, but Jesus turns that thinking upside down. True fulfillment comes not from gathering more, but from giving more. It's about shifting our focus from the self to the other. When we live with this mindset, we experience a deeper sense of purpose and satisfaction. Generosity is the antidote to anxiety. It provides the peace of knowing we are part of something bigger than ourselves. The practical application of Jesus' teachings. Living without worry sounds great in theory, but how do we put this into practice in our daily lives? The answer lies in focusing on what we can control: our actions, our attitudes, and our relationships. Worrying about what we can't control doesn't help anyone, least of all ourselves. Instead of fretting over material possessions or future uncertainties, Jesus calls us to trust. Trust in God's provision, trust in His plan, and trust in the power of love and service to transform lives. Take time to invest in relationships, help those in need, and focus on being present in the moment. When we let go of the need to control everything, we free ourselves to embrace the abundance of life. If you've made it this far, congrats. You've successfully worried less about what you'll wear and more about what's truly important. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button like you're feeding the hungry birds. Don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing insights. Trust me, they're more fun than the latest fashion trend. See you in the next one, where we promise to keep your worries at bay.